Hello, everyone. Thanks for giving me the time today. My name is Qiqing, and I'm going to present my weaving series titled Don't Believe a Word. There are four weavings made primarily with paper yarn, hand spun from books, calligraphy paper, naturally dyed, and then woven on a floor loom. It's a collection of my stories from different stages of life, about family, gender, attachment and loss, and the disillusionment of written words. My interest of paper started when I was searching for material to provide structure in weaving, and then surprisingly found paper has a lot of potential. It offers subtle and flexible support while also carrying great cultural significance. The photo on the left is the basement of a Chinese immigrant family living in Brooklyn. They needed to move out of the house and then donated boxes of books for my project. And then on the right are some of my experiments making paper yarn, which later pushed me to learn how to make paper. I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of making and treating paper yarn. I tore pages from this dictionary, cut them into thin strips, and then spun them to threads on a spinning wheel. And this one on handmade calligraphy paper that's made from mulberry tree bark, I painted on them directly before cutting and spinning. I also dyed some industrially made paper yarn and cotton with marigold, cochineal, and logwood. And here's some paper yarn that was first dyed with marigold to get yellow, and then over dyed with just a little bit of indigo to get the fresh green shades like the leaves in spring. Here are some of my sketchbook images. Human figures are very intriguing to me as they're full of stories. I was inspired a lot by African-American artists who work with figures like painter Bob Thompson and weaver Deirdre Perkins. So I started to draw body parts, paint them, and then weave them on looms. Here's me working on the loom at home and working on the final pieces on a larger scale, making images by double weave. So this is the first one of the series called The Unborn Brothers. It's about the brothers that I didn't have related to China's one-child policy, but it's way more complicated than that, and it's not discussed in my family. For this piece, I use joss paper, a kind of paper decorated with golden or silver squares, and it's usually folded and burned in offerings for deceased family members. The second piece is called She Was Always There, recording the precious moment that I shared with my childhood dog. I wove curves, circles, big and small, and the shape could stay because of the property, the strength of paper yarn. The white yarn is hand spun from calligraphy paper, and then the colors were dyed with logwood, marigold, and indigo. The third one is a two-panel piece called Seduction. It's about my experience starting to work as a journalist some years ago when I just got out of school and then saw for the first time very clearly the power imbalance between cultural elite, who are usually much older men, who acted as predators, and the young women who were intellectually seduced and looked up to them. The paper yarn is spun from pages of a literature history book in which all but one author women. The last one is Self-Exile, which was actually the first one, the earliest one that I made, but for the storyline it came last. For the material, I use a dictionary donated by the Chinese family that I mentioned earlier. The piece is about a person who uprooted herself, left home, and jumped into the unknown. That's all. Thank you for listening to me today.